Good evening, Jay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Leaders in Action, Season 4, Episode 9. Tonight, we'll spend some time talking about the customer. It has been said many times that business is about uncovering the needs of the customer, finding the right solutions, and delivering it in the most convenient way possible. Those who succeed are able to understand the customer very well and create products and services that delight them. The best way a company can stand out from competition is by understanding and meeting the evolving needs of customers.
Good evening, Mr. IB, and good evening to everyone joining us tonight. We hope that you are all doing well. Understanding the buyers of life insurance can be challenging because, unlike in tangible products, the journey of the customer to purchase a life insurance is more complex uh, with many steps involved. Moreover, unlike buyers of cell phones, for instance, those who listen to insurance presentations are usually not predisposed to buy. Sabi nga, insurance in the Philippines are sold, not bought. But before we proceed to our episode tonight, we would like to give our many thanks again to our special guest last week, Mr. Mix Flores, Associate Financial Wealth Manager of FWD, for generously describing to us how he leverages on digital technology to acquire more clients and develop productive advisors. So maraming salamat ulit, Manager Mix.
Thank you, Mids. The increasing awareness on the value of insurance is not the only change we see among our likely customers. Companies must also take note of the demographic profile, where younger generations are becoming the biggest customer base. Related to age and experience are changing customer needs, expectations, behavior, which are all significantly influenced by technology. In the past, tandaan pa natin to J, prospects for life insurance have very limited knowledge about the product and relied solely on what the first agent told him or her. Today, it is so easy for prospects to research and compare the different companies and their products. They are not only expecting information, but good advice and real value.
As a result, companies have to work double time to keep up to their evolving customers. To do this, they have to fully appreciate the journey the customers take when buying life insurance. In the past, the speed and convenience are the key differentiators. But today, fast and easy are just by par for the course. Ika nga, sila ay minimum at basic na po ngayon. Customers now are expecting more from their insurers in terms of innovations, no? Just similar to what they are receiving from other companies that are, or industries that are more digitally advanced and adept, no, like telecommunications and sa banking. Now, the big question is, how are life companies and their distribution responding to this challenge? We are very fortunate to have with us tonight the Chief Marketing Officer of AIA Philippines to share with us his insights on how customers have changed and what companies can do to keep them happy and delighted. So, leaders, please help me welcome our special guest sharer for this evening, our former colleague and our dear friend, Mr. Leo Tan. Hi, Leo. Good afternoon. Good evening.
Good
And
afternoon, good evening.
yeah, welcome to Leaders in Action. And thank you again for accepting our invitation.
It's my pleasure, Miss J and Sir IB. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to all the viewers wherever part of the world you may be. I know Leaders in Action is very international now, very global. And ganun talaga, we're in the digital space. And if you're in digital, you don't know which part of the world you are in, but you're ensuring that you're reaching more audiences.
Salamat Leo. It's been a while seeing you and I'm happy that you are with us tonight. So, mabilis at takbo ng oras. So, if you're fine, we'll start the conversation.
Yes, sir.
Okay, alam mo naman that yung life insurance penetration rate natin has not been improving through the years. No? Ang latest na nakita natin, we're only at 1.9%, which is much lower than the global average of 6%. In your assessment, Leo, what can be the reason or reasons for why the industry's penetration rate has not really significantly increased?
Thank you for that question, Sir IB. I think that's a very, very, very good question. 1.9%, hindi pa nga tumama sa 2%, konting-konti na lang, no? I think really it's because of another statistic, no? The financial literacy rate. So directly proportional yun, I think, because we were always monitoring the financial literacy rate. I think it's somewhere between 20 to 25%. And also the other factor would be I guess the image of or the perception on life industry as a whole. So a lot of Filipinos, although the savings rate is a little bit better now, but knowing how to plan for your future, I think there is still a lot of improvement and opportunities there. So to me, this might look like a headwind, but there are tailwinds, Sir IB and Ms. J, because in this industry we have to look at opportunities, not just the issues. And I think the low insurance penetration rate or the low financial literacy rate can be addressed by 2 E's. Okay, ano yung 2 E's na yon? Education and evolution. Diba? Education by being a financial advisor, and just like Leaders in Action, there is an advocacy to educate more Filipinos about the proper way of planning for your future. It's not just about being rich, diba? It's also making sure that preparado ka, whether there are sad events meaning someone getting sick, someone getting into an accident or untimely passing, and also planning for the future, no? For your kids' education, for your retirement, or for whatever goals. So if we're able to band together to increase the financial literacy rate as advisors, as bank assurance executives, I'm sure we will be able to move the needle. Now, if I may touch on another part, the evolution. Kasi I guess, Sir IB and Ms. J, in the past, ang perception ng image ng ating produkto is it's a you die, we pay proposition, di ba? Napakalungkot, kailangan may mawala, kailangan may magkasakit. But you know what? I've seen the evolution throughout the years. Now we, as insurers, we talk about not just, critical illness coverage or medical coverage. We talk about health and wellness. We're evolving. Yeah. So instead of being a payer of benefits, nagiging partner na rin tayo sa ating client's journey to health and wellness. So sabi nga nila, yung journey of prevention, di ba? Protection, diagnosis, treatment, and all the way to recovery. No? So parang nagiging doktor na tayo. I guess that's the reason why I'm wearing a white coat now. From payer to a partner. And I think that's where we're headed, and the beauty of that is the industry as a whole is seeing this opportunity. So hopefully, tumaas itong 1.9% exponentially. No, dapat naman in the next 5 years umabot tayo ng double digit, and towards the mid 30s, 40s, 50s along the way. And same also for the other markets across the globe.
Thank you, Leo. Jay.
Yeah. Leo, no, you mentioned na talagang isang kailangan nating improve is the financial literacy. But can also say that one silver lining during this pandemic is the increased awareness and interest of the public to learn more about insurance. Leo, how did that awareness translate to the actual higher sales in the industry?
Okay. Another very good question. You mentioned about the journey of the customer or the would-be customer, Miss J, earlier
Yeah.
in your intro. So, tama ka, the excuse me, the awareness really increased, no? Hindi ko nga alam kung matutuwa ako because it took pandemic for
Okay,
people to
yeah.
realize the beauty and the value of insurance. But the journey is also a bit complex because being aware does not necessarily mean they will take action. So
Mhm.
we've seen that people now searching more about insurance, protection, medical coverage. So the next step kasi is consideration. Do we see
Yes.
that increase in consideration? Meron naman, no? The call to action will be the last stage. I would say slightly lower increase in that. Now, we try to analyze bakit ganon. People are more aware pero hindi pa nakuha yung next step, hindi pa ginagawa yung next step. I think Sir Ivan, Miss J, what we also saw kasi in the pandemic, during the pandemic, was there was really a unemployment, loss of jobs. Syempre, businesses were affected. Some probably had lower disposable income. So sabi ko nga there are already buying signs, but probably the capability, the capacity is not yet there. But at least nandun na tayo sa first step, di ba? They're already
Yes.
considering. Okay, we just need to ensure that the projected growth in the GDP, di ba? I always look at the glass half full 6%, 6.5%. First quarter, we saw a good growth around higher than 8%, no? Because of the opening of the economy. So it will really be dependent on how we can really bounce back to the new normal. Some industries are already there. Some are still going there. So hopefully, a lot of moving parts. We have a new administration coming in. Global inflationary pressures are there. But yung awareness at consideration, I think kahit pa paano we've established that. Pag medyo gumanda-ganda na yung recovery ng economy, I am very confident yung call to action mapupunta, sasama na siya. So ang tanong lang, are you part of the awareness and consideration journey of the customer as advisors, as leaders? So don't wait for the recovery to happen before you will act. Dapat as early as now, diba? We should be leaders already in action, trying to see, diba, how to be part of the awareness and consideration journey.
Having said that, Leo, what can you say? Should leaders and advisors do? Number one, to sustain whatever awareness and consideration we have successfully established already. And second, yun nga, how can they make sure na masustain yon so that they can bring that to the next level, which is really the buying portion already of the process?
Very good question, Miss J. Lahat ng question nyo, good question Kaya paulit-ulit ako din I think it's about being able to act as farmers. As leaders, diba? As leaders, alam natin to. We have advisors within our team, diba? We get to nurture them. We get to develop them. Diba? Normally, kung customer na, ginagawa natin yun diba? We nurture our customers. But we have to change the mindset also. How do we also nurture our prospects, our leads, our referrals? Kasi they might be people who you've talked to, diba, during the pandemic, whether nakausap mo personally or nag-comment lang sa iyong post on social media, right? You have to nurture them. You have to do the hunting and also the farming. Kasi the farming, depende yan. Some might probably just need 2 weeks, some might probably need 2 months, some might probably need 6 months before from awareness consideration maging call to action. So you've mentioned about this, Miss J, no, the power of digital. You have to build your brand. In fact, be your own chief marketing officer,
Yes.
right? Be your own chief marketing officer. So do the hunting online, okay? And also do the farming and nurturing. Importante yun eh, the content that you will create, the conversations that you will be doing, the engagement that you will employ, that's key, no? So that when the time comes, ready na siya to make that action, ikaw ang top of mind. Di ba? Hindi papasok yung another person or another brand or another ang kalaban dyan minsan si Lazada at si Shopee eh.
Oo.
No? Yun yung nakita eh. So always be visible, always be top of mind, and always have that share of mind dun sa yung target group or target segment.
So you believe, Leo, that yung increased awareness na yan can really be sustained despite the fact na slowly bumabalik na tayo sa normal at hindi na bababalik to delaying ang decision ng mga tao to life insurance again? Baka ma-second na naman tayo, bumaba na naman dahil eto na, bumabalik na naman ang ekonomiya.
I believe it's sustainable if we do our part. Kasi what we're seeing now, revenge spending, revenge travel. No, yung 2 years and 3 months na hindi ako nakapaggastos, hindi ako nakapag-shopping, hindi ako nakapag-travel, gigil na gigil yung tao eh.
Yeah.
'Di ba? At least doon sa mga nakapag-recover na. So if you're not part of that, yon. So ang nakikita ulit beaches, 'di ba, resorts. So I'm not saying it's bad to enjoy those things, but the balance. So kung yung kaliwa, ito yung pinapakita, dapat nandoon ka naman sa kanan na also showing that hey, don't forget you should also plan for the future. Don't plan lang for the next 2 months kasi feeling mo magle-level 2, level 3 na ulit. Katumaas na naman yung daily cases. So always have that balancing act and be part of the balancing team.
Balancing team, okay. Thank you. That's a very good insight, Leo.
Yun, naalala ko sa mga sinabi mo yung yung alam nila na dapat gawain pero hindi naman nila ginagawa, no? Parang sana mataas ang blood pressure mo, alam mo na bawal yung mga matataba na pero kahit ka pa rin nakain, ano. So really it takes a lot of effort and discipline to cross over from what you think to real action. And then you mentioned about yung concept na trust, kasi kailangan call to action. Kailangan pinagkakatiwalaan mo yung deal mo, di ba? Sa insurance, alam naman natin that trust is a very important ingredient in the business. So the public expected so much from the industry during the crisis na hopefully natapos na, no? In your assessment again, what grade or rating would you give the industry, no, as a whole in terms of the response during the pandemic, in terms of ability to sell the products, to provide coverage, servicing, and more importantly, in the payment of claims?
Boss Ivy, tatanong ko, anong grading system gusto mo, LaSalle o UP? Kasi may baliktad eh. No, but I'm kidding. I think
Ateneo na lang.
Ateneo. Ano ba sa Ateneo? Letra, di ba? Letra. But kidding aside, my own assessment, my personal assessment on how the industry has responded, I would give it 9. Okay. Bakit 9? Kasi what I saw was, syempre the Insurance Commission called upon the different players of the industry to play their role, no, in addressing the pandemic. But nakita ko talaga yung sincerity and yung initiative of the different brands to respond. How? Different companies gave away free COVID coverages, no? Not just to their existing customers, but also to their potential customers. I would put it at that. Sa public, dagdag offer. Some brands also offered free coverages to frontliners. No, I don't like to plug, but AIA was also one of those who gave coverages to medical frontliners. So andun yung sincerity na makatulong. But I think the biggest thing that made me give it a grade of 9, we were paying COVID-related claims. No? So for those of you who are very meticulous about the policy contracts, sa totoo lang,
Yeah.
some products actually had exclusions that if the
Yeah.
company decided, naku, mukhang andito to sa exclusion na we're not obliged to pay for COVID-related claims. But no one did that. Diba? Let me repeat, no insurance company did that. In fact, diba, they even went to the extent na hindi lang yung COVID death claim yung binayaran, pati yung HIV, hospital income benefit. For those of you who are not familiar, it's a benefit that you pay the policyholder kung hindi siya makapagtrabaho dahil na-hospitalized. Diba? Pero ang pagbayad ng HIV, for some of the brands, I'm not so sure if all the companies did it, no? Kahit naka-home quarantine ka, companies pay that benefit. So dun makita yung sincerity that we want to fulfill the promises that we have made. Now, Boss IB also mentioned about how the different companies responded. No? Kasi nga, I need to file a claim, I need to transact, I need to pay for my policies, but I don't want to go to the office or ask my advisors to go to my house to do the transaction. So, digitalization biglang bumilis. You've heard this so many times. It's not the CEO or the chief technology officer who fast-tracked digitalization in the life insurance industry. It was COVID-19.
COVID-19.
It was parang COVID who really made everything faster. So I guess necessity really is the mother of invention. But the good thing about that, we made things more convenient. Okay, we made things more accessible. Why not a 10? Why not an 11? Okay, well, 10 is the perfect score because there are always room for improvement. I think we did respond, but there are still gaps. There are still opportunities on how we can make the experience of our customers and would-be customers better and more delightful. So
You have something in mind, let's say, at least one item to say na sana ito nagawa pa ng industry para mas lalong maganda ang experience ng customer.
I think it's faster processing of claims. No, so we've seen very fast transformation of digitalization sa payments. Siyempre, diba? That's something that for both new business and after sales. Sa claims, because to me that's the most powerful way of showing how valuable the insurance industry is. So mabilis naman. Some did it in 3 days, 4 days, no? But doing it end-to-end digitally where you don't need to hassle, inconvenience the customer. So yun, if there's one part of the life insurance journey that I'd like to focus on sa digitalization, I'm in marketing, okay? Pero gusto ko pagandahin yung claims. Diba? We're not talking about death claims, we're talking about living claims because lalo na sa medical, diba? People should worry about getting better, not worry about paying the bills. So, yan. Pag nagawa na siguro yun, Sir IB, pwede ko na bigyan ng 11 yung insurance industry.
Thank you. Pero salamat sa sinabi mo sa mga leaders and advisors. Magandang marinig na yung kanilang industry na they're part of, that they contributed, really rose to the occasion when it is expected, no, to address that crisis, no. And we hope that no other crisis will come upon us, but this should give confidence na kayang harapin the challenges moving forward. Thank you, Leo.
If I may add also, Sir IB,
Go ahead.
because I think you made a very good point. Now, marketing people, product development people are contemplating no, whether to expand the coverages to include pandemics and epidemics. Di ba? Normally, pag may crisis, isipin mo, no, sige, yung ngayon pwede pagbigyan natin, but in the future, can we have tighter exclusions? But baliktad yung nangyayari. Now, people are actually thinking, the marketers, the product guys are thinking, how can we make it more expanded? So, be proud that you are in the industry that cares. Be proud that you are part of the industry that wants to ensure that we protect the people that we onboard, no, as policyholders. So good job to us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Leo, that's very good to hear. No, I'm sure our leaders, no, and our listeners are excited, no, about that kind of development. Now, let's try to understand our customers more. Outside of the increased awareness and interest that they have shown, no, about life insurance, Leo, what other expectations, attitudes, behaviors did you see from the customers natin during this last 2 years when it comes to owning a life insurance policy? May mga pagbabago ka bang nakita?
Madami, Miss J. I think you also touch upon this. In the past, no, tayong mga millennials, iba yung millennials sa millennials, millennials,
Okay.
there's trust, no, with the people who talk to us, the advisors that we talk to us, and normally they're our either referred from our friends, from or family members, no? So andun yung very strong trustworthiness. I'm not saying ngayon wala na, but what we've noticed is that Filipinos are doing Dior. Hindi Christian Dior, alam ko, Miss J, mahilig ka doon.
Kaya nga,
Dior.
Yung ano eh.
Diba yun? Hindi yung signature brand. Dior. D-Y-O-R. Do your own research. Doing your own research. So, the way I look at it, diba, we have the millennials, we have the millennials, and those in between. No? So, the millennials, what I've seen is they'll research online first before I talk to an advisor. Some might even want to do it straight through digital, no? But syempre depende sa proposition. Some might need some more explanation. Yung mga simpleng propositions, pwede yan pang straight through digital. But regardless, no, people are doing the Dior. I would use the analogy of someone going into a car showroom, diba? There is a buyer who would really look at just the paint job, you know, the leather seats. Yung iba naman would really look at the specs of the car, no? Yeah. But lahat nun, I noticed they're doing their Dior. They do their own research para pagdating dun sa face-to-face or sa digital experience, medyo validation na lang yung nabasa nila. Kunyari hindi alam eh. What do you think about this? Tinetesting ka na kung alam mo ba yung pinagsasabi mo.
Oo, tama.
Right? So yun yung aking observation. So if the customer or the prospect is doing their Dior, as leaders, as advisors, we should also be Dioring. We should also be doing our own research. Because kung mas maalam yung prospect or yung customer kaysa sa'yo, that's not going to be a good sign. Right? So continuous learning, because we're seeing that from our customers, dapat gano'n rin tayo as leaders and advisors. Now, in terms of expectations sa products, I would say nag-iba na rin eh, Sir IB and Ms. J. They don't look at products anymore. They look at propositions.
Okay.
Products, ano yung features, di ba? Ilang critical illness coverage bang kasama dyan? Until what age ba yung coverage niyan? Di ba? So, ganun yung nangyari dati. So, brand A will come out with 65 critical illnesses, no? Up to age 65, nakita ni brand B. So, gagawa siya ng 100 critical illnesses up to age 100. Pretty soon, 1,000 critical illnesses na yan. Diba? Gano'n ba kadaming critical illnesses sa mundo, di ba? But that has evolved. So now we're seeing propositions. These are auxiliary added supplementary benefits that you add to the proposition.
Mhm.
Diba? So you don't talk about critical illness coverage lang, you talk about health and wellness.
Oh,
Diba? Talk
yeah.
about prevention, I mentioned this, talk about prediction, diagnosis, treatment, and all the way to recovery without forgetting the core feature that we have. So interconnected experiences, integrated propositions, and I guess intertwining that no
Mhm.
with the value of the advisor, giving the proper advice, giving the proper planning roadmap to the customers. So medyo mas marami ng demands, 'di ba? But to me, that's the beauty of being in this career, 'di ba? Because tayo yung magbubuno, tayo yung magko-complete nung entire story na yan. Sorry, mahaba akong sumagot, Miss J and
Oh, it's
Sir
okay.
IB.
Leo, can we safely say that our distribution partners are managing those changes from the customers?
I would say it depends, no, for those who have embraced this new trend. I would say they're doing better, but there are also some who would have to move the level up. No?
Mm.
If you're a leader, I'm sure you are part of the first group, no? And it's your responsibility, our responsibility as leaders to influence naman those who might need catching up. Kasi sabi ko nga, Miss J, if I may add also, no, propositions is not just the product itself. No, I would
Yeah.
probably use the acronym PPE. Hindi personal protective equipment. Propositions is composed of the people,
Mhm.
di ba? The propositions itself and the experience. So people can be the frontliners, but to me, ang pinaka-importante dun yung advisor. Kasi the first touch point really is the advisor, right? You may have done the discussions, the transactions digitally, but there is still a face, no, to that brand, to that experience. So how the people will handle the transactions, the discussions, the conversation, that's very, very important. Yun yung soft side ng PPE, right? The propositions, of course, you have that sa policy contract. Nandun naman yung features, nandun naman yung other programs. Like for example, in AIA, meron tayong AIA Vitality. So that's part of the propositions. And the experience will be the result. If you have good people doing the conversations, the transactions, maganda rin at nagbabayad tayo ng claims. Hindi natin pinapahiya yung ating sarili because we deliver. So the experience will be very pleasant, will be delightful. And that means more prospects and more referrals for us. So PPE.
PPE. So JOR and PPE, those are the related acronyms no kailangan tandaan ng ating mga leaders no facing itong bagong normal no sa industriya natin. Thank you, Leo. Mr. Ivy?
Leo, we've mentioned that there is certainly an increase in the awareness on insurance products. Does that mean na ang product development ng mga kumpanya nag-surge in terms of medical products or health products, or there are other products, innovative products that they're looking at to complement existing portfolio?
Yeah. Intuitively, people will think because madami nagkasakit, no? Madami nagka-COVID. Like me, I had it 2 times. No? So, tataas agad yung medical coverages. No? Totoo naman, tumaas. But what we also saw, because depende how the person was affected. Ang natamaan ba yung kanyang state of health or yung kanyang state of wealth? Diba? Yung iba naman, siguro, talagang malakas ang katawan, hindi pa nagka-COVID kahit anong variant. Pero ang tinamaan sa kanya would be their disposable income. Diba? Because some probably are businessmen, hindi ganun kaganda yung demand for the business. Some might have been underemployed. No? Dami nga nag-online business, no,
Yes, yeah.
to cope, no, to address their financial needs. So there. Uh, so alongside with the increase for medical products, actually, sir, tumaas din yung demand for critical illness.
Mm.
Surprisingly, tumaas din yung critical illness. But we also saw a resurgence of interest for long-term savings.
All
Kasi
right.
siguro dito nakita na hindi
Yeah.
nga pala pwede yung yung paycheck to paycheck
Yes.
mindset.
Oo.
Kailangan ko talagang mag-set aside ng something. Of course, emergency funds iba 'yon, 'di ba? 'Di ba sabi
Yeah.
nga nila, you should have something for the next 6 months just in case. But people, I guess, also became vulnerable realizing paano na yung pag-college ng aking anak or education, no? Even naman kung nag-home learning, hindi naman ibig sabihin mas mura yung tuition fee.
Yeah.
Lugi nga tayo, di ba? Nagbabayad tayo para yung tuition fee, pero yung teacher, sa screen mo lang nakikita, internet, saka kuryente mo, saka aircon mo yung ginagamit. But kidding aside, no? It made people think to really be mindful of planning for their future. So, both the medical
All
side,
right.
the critical illness value propositions, as well as the long-term savings.
Long-term
So,
saving.
really, if we're there, we understand how the customers think and react. Just strike that conversation, whether state of wealth ang pag-uusapan or state of health. Ang maganda doon, you have different options.
Thank you. I think that's a very good analysis. No? Looking ahead, Leo, do you think products of insurance will become a lot simpler or more complicated because of the changed expectations of customers?
I will answer that, Sir IB, by looking at different customer segments. Diba? Kasi in marketing, it's understanding the customer, and
Yeah.
one size does not fit all. No?
Mhm.
So, iba-iba yung profile, iba-iba yung persona. So, sa millennials, 'di ba, compared to the millennials, alam ko, Sir IB and Miss J, doon kayo sa millennial.
Oh,
Diba?
tama yan. Tama ka dyan,
Tama
Lee.
yan.
Tayo.
Tama yan. Kasi
Doon tayo.
baka hindi,
Doon tayo.
baka hindi nyo na ako pakinggan sa sagot ko. Sa millennial, 'di ba? Mas high-tech, low-touch siguro sila yung experience. Meaning, I want everything siguro digital. Yung iba, chatbot lang, happy na eh. Kahit wala na
Yeah.
makausap na 'di ba? AI, machine learning, chatbots, I'm fine with that. No? Profile me and then come up with an offer, and I do things digitally. But syempre, sa ganong avenue, mas simpleng products lang yung pwede. Right? But we have to realize that when it comes to financial planning, it's not all about numbers eh. Diba? It's also the conversation on how you want your children to be, on how you want your legacy to be. So I don't think a chatbot will be able to address that. Yeah, because these are emotional conversations, right? And that's where I think high tech and high touch will come in. So I would say we will, I don't like to say it will be more complicated. I think it will be expanded, because from products we will talk about propositions, diba? So a little more discussion on the different ecosystems, no? But to me, that's valuable. A little bit extra time to discuss more of that, but if it enriches the value proposition that we will give to our customers, I think it's worth it. Sa millennials naman, ang alam lang nila kasi, Sir Ivy, is mag-like sa Facebook, di ba? So low tech, high touch. So iba naman ang pag-uusapan dyan. I think it's more of say legacy planning or leaving something behind. So extreme talaga, there will be that spectrum. Simple for the millennials, high tech, low touch. A little bit expanded dito sa middle of the spectrum. No? So
given how you describe the segments, no, if I were a financial advisor, kumbaga, what would be the best way that I'll prepare myself so that I'll be able to address the needs? Or do you suggest that the FA must focus on a segment rather than
Okay.
trying to capture different segments.
Yeah. One learning I also had as a marketer, the people in a particular segment does not necessarily mean they will be in that segment forever,
Hmm.
right? So, uh, as leaders, probably what you can do is to also look at the profile of your team, di ba? Kasi there has to be the customer and advisor matching also, right? So, if for example, you have millennial advisors, then you might want to focus dun sa middle at saka sa mas millennials because mas connect, 'di ba? There will be more a natural connection. Now, for
Hmm.
those who are in the younger stage, 'di ba? Grow with your customers, grow with your base. Kung saan ka mas comfortable, right? That's your natural habitat or circle of influence. You can work with that, but grow with them along the way. No,
Yeah.
I used to consider myself young. No,
Hmm.
now numinipis na yung buhok ko. So sabi ko, I cannot think like a millennial anymore. Diba? I have to grow with the segment. Ang kagandahan naman is sa ating industry, the needs evolve also as they go through different life stages.
Yeah. Correct.
No? So, but as leaders, probably it's also strategic to look at the profile of your team or kung meron kang gustong i-tap na particular segment, also have people who have more affinity with that segment. No? So that's how I see it because you have to walk the walk and talk the talk. Diba? Sabi nga,
Yeah.
walk the talk and talk the walk. But it's walk the walk and talk the talk. Dapat they see you as part of that community.
Thank you, Leo. Thank you.
Leo, let's talk about our distribution partners now, which partly you mentioned already in your previous statements. Since they are really our field soldiers, no, they're the ones who are really face to face, no, with our clients, either virtually or talagang physical, no. How can they maximize, no, yung information that they have, no, to help companies develop more customer-centric products?
Yeah. Alam mo, Miss J, yun yung minsan kailangan rin na nakukuha ng marketers or the products team. Right? Because we do a lot of research. We do a lot of studies, right? Sometimes galing sa region, sometimes locally. But iba pa rin yung yung personal experiences na nakukuha ng advisors because the stories, the experiences, pati nga yung mga iyakan, 'di ba? Hindi naman nakukuha sa FGD or sa survey. It's really coming from the advisors. Ang tip ko lang when giving feedback, put the customer first, no? When giving feedback kasi
What do you mean by that, Leo?
ano yung need talaga? Kasi sometimes when we do the discussions, nauna yung need ng distributors. Syempre, importante rin yun. Distributors are internal customers, but we need to have that balance. Now, that to me also is a way of improving, no, the proposition, and also give feedback also on how we can improve the services. Like I said, no, it's PPE. It's not just the product policy contract that the features. It's also being able to articulate ano ba yung pain points and ano yung suggestions. 'Di ba? So it's going to be a very productive discussion when we do those things. And to me, the real feedback really comes from the advisors. That's what I've observed, no? Unfiltered, no? Real feedback and sometimes disruptive feedback, which is good because that really makes the marketers rethink of what they have been doing for the past, I don't know, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years.
On the other hand, Leo, how can companies naman use this information, their distribution processes, to better help them in developing their marketing and customer strategies? Paano nyo mas magagamit yung mga feedbacks na ibinibigay naman ng mga advisors natin?
Yeah. Like I said, no, the game now is to be present digitally,
Mhm.
physically and digitally. So, what we really try to do is to help our distributors, our advisors be more visible in social media. No? So we come up with different content, with different messages, with different campaigns,
Mhm.
right? But minsan kasi iba rin yung thinking eh. If we get advisors to help the marketers come up with content na mas may call to action, right?
Mhm.
Iba yung positioning when it comes to the advisors. That will help. Now, in turn, middle office or the back office can provide more of these things, no, to help you increase your social media presence. So, to me, it's a two-way street, no? It's a symbiotic relationship. Diba? We give you feedback, you also give us feedback. Diba? After all, it's a partnership.
Yeah.
And we'll be able to increase the marketing prowess of our distributors. You know what I've seen?
Mhm.
Diba? Ito, mukhang may mga advisors tayo or leaders na very advanced eh. Sometimes I research about the other companies, about the other brands. Siyempre, nakaka-capture information yung online behavior. Diba? The cookies. You know what? The nurturing and retargeting, after probably a few hours, I will get sponsored ads. Kung sino man yung advisors na research ko. Okay?
Mm.
So, yun yung sinasabi ko eh, the power of social media, of digital marketing, if you understand the hunting and farming. So, siguro for the next 48 hours, wala na ako nakita sa post ko, kundi Jay Ledesma tsaka o kaya si Sir Ivy Cantos. So, subconsciously, kahit na hindi ko binasa yung post, di ba, that piques the interest. And then if there is more relevant content, because you actually can customize the content depending on ano yung sinesearch ng iyong prospect o yung customer. So these things can really help, no, increase your social media presence.
Leo, before I let you go, I'll go not Mr. Ivy, with your permission, I'll go na to my last question, no, kasi related na to dun sa minention ni Leo, because we really heard, no, a lot of our leaders really want to maximize itong social media presence because they really believe that this is the way to go, no? At nakita nga nila yung lalo na, no, yung mga millennials are really into this. At marami tayong, sabi mo nga, mga millennials, okay, na gusto rin nila rito. We know that the pinaka-vital function ng marketing is really product development, no? But having considered, no, yung itong digital advancement talaga na nangyayari, what is the role, no, that marketing plays in helping the agency force really fully maximize, no, the benefits of social media, lalong-lalo na dun sa mga hindi talaga digitally native? Leo, paano ba makakatulong ang mga marketing partners, no, sa distribution on that aspect?
Good point. You know, in AIA, we also wanted to do that. So, ganun din. Sinegment din natin yung approach because there are millennials who have their own YouTube channels. There are millennials who were able to build their own brand.
Mm-hmm.
No? So, parang na nga silang influencer na rin, so to speak. And what we've seen is they chose a certain advocacy and they stuck to that. So consistency. So what marketing does is to help them with more content that they can use. No? Now for the millennials, or we call the digital migrants. Kasi meron yung digital natives, 'di ba? Pinanganak in the digital space. Merong digital migrants, 'di ba? Trying to learn, and meron din digital allergics. Allergic talaga sa digital. Yun siguro medyo mindsetting yung ating gagawin. But for the digital
mahaba-habang
migrant,
journey yun.
diba? Mahaba-habang journey. But there is always hope, sabi nga. But for the digital migrants, I guess we do conduct several basic digital marketing courses kasi you have to understand, di ba, what's the platform and what are the latest marketing technology. But at the end of the day, content is king.
Yeah.
Content is king. So you always have to churn out relevant content. Yung iba hinahaluan ng konting lifestyle, no? And probably my tip is when you do your content, diba, don't be a contrarian. Okay? Ano ibig
Contrarian.
sabihin ng contrarian? Alam mo, ang nakikita natin, di ba, usually as advisors, we teach our customers not to spend.
Mhm.
Huwag ka nang gumastos, di ba? Hindi okay yan. Di ba? Ano naman yan? Yung other extreme is the reinforcer or the sulsultant. Sulsul ng sulsul. Okay lang yan. Wala ka namang bisyo eh. So okay lang yan. So to me, we have to change the way also how we position ourselves. Instead na kumokontra ka or nagging, di ba? Ayaw ng mga husbands yan eh, na nagnanag. Ang wives din, ayaw rin ninanag ng husband. So instead of saying don't spend, okay, or save, di ba?
Mhm.
Spend responsibly. Would you want me to go with you on this journey so that we can teach you how to spend responsibly? Hindi kita pinagbabawalang gumastos, but pay yourself first. So these types of discussion, ito yung nakita kong mas successful, mas hindi preachy ang dating,
Okay.
right? But you become the partner, you acknowledge that it's natural for certain people to behave that way instead of parang kinokontra, going head on or clashing. You ride on it, you piggyback on it, you enhance the storytelling, but teach them how to do it properly.
Okay.
No? So again, at the end of the day, it's content is king.
Okay.
Content is king.
Okay. It's good to know that the distribution has their marketing partners to help them in their digital journey, ika nga. So thank you for sharing that, Leo.
Kuha kayo ng tips kay Sir Ivy at kay Miss J. The thing that they do in Leader in Action, it's very spot on.
Thank you.
Leo, companies are really pushing investing in digitalization, and they're directing customers to do self-service and online, diba? So given this direction, first question is, are policyholders accepting this new direction and are happy with this kind of online transactions? And second, related to that, ano nga magiging role naman ng agents with respect to keeping and servicing their customers?
Yan. Again, I've mentioned there were several good questions. This is a brilliant and excellent question. Kasi in the age of digitalization, we want things to be faster, no? Kasi in the past, there are several gaps when it comes to servicing. So companies have resorted to digitalizing processes. There are pros and cons, diba? Like I said, the appreciation depends whether you are a millennial or a millennial. The millennials appreciate it because, within 24 hours, 48 hours, tapos na yung transaction. Diba?
Yeah.
The millennials naman, they don't really like the high-tech. They prefer the high-touch. No? So, mixed reactions, I would say, but it's something that's inevitable. Right? I think it's something that at the end of the day, as millennials, as we have more millennials, Gen Z na nga at saka Gen A ngayon, the demand and the appreciation for these digital processes will just increase. Now, how does the advisor come in? It's very important that when a certain transaction is completed, diba, the advisor is notified, right? And that's the part where the advisor can give a call, no, to the customer and say that, you know what, your COVID claim, hospital income benefit has been approved and is already about to be credited to your account. No? So we don't take away the human touch because it is a relationship-based industry. To me, like I said, no, it's PPE, it's not TPE, right? PPE is people, propositions, experience. It's not technology, propositions, and experience. Technology is part of the how so that you can achieve a good experience. But the people part, the person part, the personal touch, in our proposition, I think that's very important. Because yung care is key, no? Convenience, yes, that can be answered by tech, that can also be provided by the advisors. A is advice, no? Advice. Chatbots can do that. Probably AI can do that in a limited way. But the sincere advice, knowing the personal circumstances of your customers, tayo yun eh. As people, tayo makakabigay niyan. And of course, the R&E would be reachability. No? Reachability. So yun, that's how I see it. No? Tech will come in as an enabler, but the people part cannot be replaced by robots. But we have to really think of ways how to increase the value.
Thank you, Leo. I think well said. No, the human touch will always be there. No, and that means that the advisor plays a very critical role. Final question. Ubus na yung oras natin sa ating magandang usapan. You've said a lot of things that our agency leaders can actually take home and make use of now moving forward. Is there a final word that you want to share to the leaders as to how best they can take care of the customers that they acquire for the organization?
To me, it's really about fulfillment of the promises that we have made. No, so we have to be there in times of their need. Kaya nga tuwang-tuwa ako nung COVID, no, the industry rose up to the occasion, and be proud that you are part of this industry. So siguro my last advice is really be part of the crusade, no? Be part of the renaissance to help people with their wealth, status of wealth, and status of health wherever they may be. So we can help them improve that and take it to the next level. So very noble profession. I'm very proud to be part of it. I was also once in sales, now in marketing. No, so and hats off to you, Sir IB and Miss J. No, this advocacy that you are doing, educating more people, opening minds, changing mindset, changing paradigms. I think this is key so we can influence more and more Filipinos to take action.
Salamat. Thank you, Leo, once again for the many insights that you've shared with us tonight. Salamat din for reminding us about the beauty of what the industry provides to the community and the country. And again, as we articulated, when we keep the interests and the welfare of the customer in mind, we can never go wrong. So all the best to you and many more successes ahead.
Thank you. Big thanks, Leo, for joining us tonight. We are always happy to see and talk to former colleagues and lifelong friends. So see you around, Leo. And thank you again. Kita-kita tayo soon with ni Boss IB.
Yes,
And
yes.
yeah. And thanks everyone for joining again us tonight, or spending your Thursday evening with us. Next week, we invite you, no, as we usher the month of July, which, Mr. IB, happens to be the last month for our season 4. No, so ang bilis, no, patapos na tayo kagad. At dahil month opener natin, next week we are not going to have just one, but we are going to have 3 guest sharers. No, so we will have Diego Borromeo of PruLife UK, Maya Chavez of AIA Philippines, and Kevin Colong of Manulife Philippines. Mr. IB, these are 3 successful young rookie leaders, no, as they share to us their wins, their joys, their challenges, and their discoveries as the new leaders on the block.
Ayos yan, Jay. Kailangan natin nag-brush up sa mga vocabulary ng mga millennials. No? Well, leaders, we wish to invite you once again and your new and would-be leaders for our next week's episode, Thursday, July 7, of course, 8 p.m. here in Leaders in Action.
Real leaders.
Real stories.
And real talk.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for listening.
Thanks, Leo.
Thank you again, Leo. Maraming salamat. Take care, everyone.